Enjoy this one. Two really good pitchers. A's and Halos next, and we'll talk to you after the ball.
It's the big finale at the Big 8 tonight. The Southern California trip continues for the Athletics, a chance to win a 4-game set. Winners last night, a comeback victory, and they set a game over 500 as we enter this Thursday night of play. Hello, everyone. Glad you're along with us. Jenny Kavnar with Dallas Braden. We got a great pitching matchup tonight. Two guys that hail from the Dominican Republic, and we will start with the senior one of those. Of course, that's Luis Severino for the Athletics, and you hope for him that he gives this team a great opportunity to win a series.
That's what he's trying to do each and every time he takes the ball, is put together a good performance, and to the point that you're making an opportunity to get out of Los Angeles with a series W. And for Severino, he had been on a roll, Jenny, rocking and rolling, if you will. In the last 4 starts prior to the one he just made, he was slicing and dicing. An ERA under 2, had allowed just 1 long ball over those 4 starts, and that's 24 innings worth of work, just 5 total earned runs. Unfortunately, a bit of a bump in the road against the Giants last time out. 5 earned runs in that outing alone, a couple long balls. That was over 6 innings, but unfortunately, it was not a great outing for Sevy, but looking to get on track against an offense who has struggled.
Jose Soriano will take the baseball for the Angels. It's been a bit of a May Gray situation for him. Not so great in his last couple of starts, but wow, Dallas, did he start the season on fire.
This dude came out of the gate about as hot as anybody in baseball. He was the best pitcher on this planet, on any other planet going in our solar system. This dude was lights out. I talked about the high-octane offerings with the fastball. He's got a devastating split. His first 6 starts, Jenny, 43 punch-outs, just 13 walks, only 1 home run allowed over 37 2/3 innings. Well, his last 4 starts, 13 walks in those last 4 starts, 4 homers, and that's just over 22 innings for Soriano. But again, this guy has a dynamic arsenal, and I know he wants to get back on track as well.
And a couple A's have some pretty hot numbers against Soriano, so we'll see how that plays into Game 4 coming up tonight. Come back with us. We're looking forward to this one. See if the Athletics can remain hot in Southern California before their weekend in San Diego. Lineups and first pitch ahead.
A's Baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places.
Let's go. It's time for the A's to win a series, a 4-game set. They lead the Angels 2-1 here over the last 3 nights. Been some tight contests, including yesterday, a 6-5 come from behind victory. And now it's the time for Luis Severino, the veteran, on the bump. Let's get you game time weather, brought to you by Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Well, the stunning temperatures continue, 72 degrees, 50% humidity. There is a beautiful rock feature here. I'm not sure if you've seen it. I just want to make sure that Chris Townsend can see it one more time back in our studio on A's Cast.
Townie got never took Townie to be a guy to have a beef with Mother Nature, but here we are.
He has a grudge against a rock, and that is what's happening. The Athletics are going to hopefully take that rock and send it out of the ballpark. Looking for some homers today, looking for some hits, looking to move them around. You see Shea Langoliers with the bat right there. Good numbers against the opposing pitcher for the Angels here tonight. Severino walking in along with Scott Emerson, game plan intact.
Well, you said it, Jenny. I think this Athletics offense poised to continue swinging the bat the way they have. They've been able to come up with big hits. They've been able to drive the ball out of the ballpark. They've been able to string hits together. And I think being able to win in the fashion they have the last couple nights, very impressive, and looking to just try to get out of Anaheim, as you said, with a series W.
That'd be good. Jose Soriano is on the bump, and the rest of the Angels taking the field right now. Let's get you your Bay Area Chevrolet dealers starting lineup. For the green and gold, Carlos Cortez is going to lead it off once again. Shea Langoliers hitting second. Nick Kurtz, 43 consecutive games reaching base, will hit third. Brent Rooker is the DH. Tyler Soderstrom, then it's Zach Geloff, Jeff McNeil, Daryl Hernandez, and Lawrence Butler back in the starting lineup hitting ninth.
And they're going to be facing a guy that has a big-time fastball, great secondary stuff as well. Jenny curveball, he's got a devastating split-finger fastball to go along with it. And I'm sure folks who were around baseball know this guy came out of the gate about as hot as anybody on the mound. This dude was just utterly dominant over his first 6 starts. He was a world beater. We're talking a 0.24 ERA. Opponents hitting under 150 against the right-hander in those first 6 starts. Well, the last 4 starts, Jenny, not so much.
A little mixed bag. The last 4, that includes his last outing on this homestand against the Dodgers, where he gave up 6 earned runs. Let's take a look at the Angels defense behind him. Rivero's doing the catching today. It's Nolan Shonwell at first, Adam Frazier at second, Neto at short, Grissom back at third, and in the outfield is Lowe, Siri, and Adele from left to right. Kurt Suzuki, first year as the manager of the Los Angeles Angels. And unfortunately for him, the record not so great, 17-33. This team has had their second worst start through the first 50 games in franchise history. Not a place in history you want to be on. It's the former A trying to right the ship over for the Angels, and Carlos Cortez getting ready to be the first batter for the Athletics tonight against Jose Soriano.
But you know, Jenny, I think if Suzuki is equipped to do anything, it is understand that the growth of a team, I think, depends on stoic leadership, something that he looks to bring to the table. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You understand that it's a long, long baseball season full of peaks and valleys.
Certainly is. We're sitting here on just May 21st. Lots of baseball left. A 1-0 count for Cortez. And a called strike on the 4-seamer at 98. Let's take a look. The man calling balls and strikes, that's Dave Rackley behind home plate tonight. Nestor Seijas at first, Louis Krupa at second, and the crew chief, Chris Cuccione, at third. Foul ball out to the stands. You got to be ready here. We have seen some balls bounce around. If you're a couple rows down, head on a swivel.
Yeah, you better be locked and loaded and ready to go. I mean, maybe a foot race or two that breaks out to get to a foul ball tonight. Fans sprinkled around the lower bowl.
The 1-2. Goes pitch taken, and now an even count. We talked about the velocity. You see high 90s from this guy. And a swing and a miss. The knuckle curve gets Carlos Cortez.
Well, it's David Rackley behind the plate this evening. We'll take a look at some of the tendencies for our man calling balls and strikes. The Rack. That's right, same nickname as our beloved broadcaster, the legend, King the Rack Korak. Gives a little more leeway when it comes to the strike zone to pitchers on the corners, and has only been overturned on 38% of the challenges. Talk about dialed in.
Yeah, umpire, you have to hang your head on that for sure. Shea Langoliers fouls back the first offering.
I think it's safe to say you like it when umpires get the call right.
Yeah, especially as a pitcher, former pitcher. I think that's probably how you felt.
I respect it.
Shea got on base in the first inning yesterday. In fact, he was hit by a pitch twice in the game. Ended up scoring the first run of the game. Now down 0-2. Yeah, A's came out swinging yesterday. And really, they took advantage of their opportunity of free passes. Here's the 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Soriano. And that knuckle curve out to play here in the first inning, 2 gone.
Well, it is a power breaking ball. This curveball coming in at 88 miles an hour. You see the downward action on this pitch. Spike out of the hand. I mean, that thing is nasty. Just picking up speed all the way down.
That'll bring up Nick Kurtz. Kurtz swings at the first pitch, fouls it back.
Average pitch velocity from Soriano, 93.1 miles an hour, 5th in baseball among starting pitchers.
0-2 now. Think about that. That is crazy. You add up all the pitches in his arsenal. It's close to mid-90s.
Yeah, I mean that's everything. That's not the heater. That's everything. It is power, and more power. Power breaking ball, a couple of power fastballs, that split that just drops off the table.
And the 0-2, a swing and a miss. Went to the splitter to get Kurtz. 3 up, 3 strikeouts for Soriano. Luis Severino looking to match on the other side. Scoreless, bottom of the first. Let's get to the starting lineup, brought to you by your Bay Area Chevrolet dealers for the Halos. Zach Neto leads it off, followed by Mike Trout, the DH. Then it's the left-handed hitter Nolan Shawnoel. Grissom's hitting 4th. Joe Adell, Josh Lowe, Jose Siri Rivero, and Adam Frazier.
And it's going to be right-handed fireballer Luis Severino on the bump for the 11th time this season. First start against the Halos for Sevy this year. First time we're seeing the Halos. We talked about what a run Severino had been on in the 4 starts prior to his most recent outing, which came against the San Francisco Giants back at home. And much like we saw Reed Detmers, who battled through a bumpy outing, was able to get through 6 innings, Severino the same. But Sevy was a man on a mission in terms of those last 4 starts. And I think this is a great opportunity for Severino against a team in the Angels who have struggled to consistently generate any type of offense, to just pick right back up where he left off prior to that outing against the Giants.
Neto quickly down 0-2. Yesterday, the Angels leadoff hitter went 0 for 5 and a swing and a miss. He'll start out the day 0 for 1. First strikeout for Severino off the sweeper. Let's take a look at the defense behind Sevy here tonight. Shea Langoliers is doing the catching. Kurtz and McNeil on the right side. Hernandez Geloff on the left side. And in the outfield, Lawrence Butler back in center. He has Tyler Soderstrom on his left and Carlos Cortez in right field. Say on his right in left field. There's Mark Kotze, the manager, of course, for the green and gold. Looking for a 4-game series win here against the Angels. It'll be a big deal. Angels and A's have battled back and forth, and it's been the Halos that have dominated over the last couple seasons in the season series.
Well, it's just not easy to win a 4-game series. It feels like the split happens more often than not. And I mean, that's just me not doing any homework on that, but feeling that way.
That's the feel.
Yeah,
it's always the feel, right?
Well, it just feels like, you know, you can come out of the gate hot, maybe even win the first 2 ball games, and then there's a close game in there, and then maybe there's a game that gets away from you. And you look up, and because that's what baseball does, right? Or at least that's what they tell me, is it evens out. Whether it's a liner off the bat right into somebody's glove or a broken bat single that scores 2, things even out.
It giveth and it taketh away.
Whoa.
And Trout with a hard grounder up the middle into center field will have the first hit here tonight.
Well, we've seen a few different guys this series have no problem going down to the bottom of the strike zone and even expanding down. Mike Trout, who does like the ball down, gets one about thigh high here. Able to barrel it up and send it right back up through the box. Having a chit chat with the big fella over there at first.
Yeah, you saw a big smile from Trout. I know he was chopping it up with Kurtz, but it might have been the fact that he got a hit because he hadn't had many of those in the last week. He was just 2 for 24 going into that at bat.
Well, I think Trouty right now might be talking to him about his Pokemon collection. Nick Kurtz, Mike Trout, both card collectors.
0-1 to Shonowell.
I dinner with Trouty in spring training during an event where a lot of players who are also card collectors. And I think it's fun to talk to guys who still collect and are avid collectors, because you get taken back to your 8-year-old self, and you can watch the individual you're talking to revert back to their 8-year-old self as well. And you look up and you realize, and it happened to me, I'm talking to Mike Trout right now about our baseball card collection. It's just funny.
Did you bring up the weather at all?
Did not.
Some meteorology?
Did not bring up the weather. Figured I'd just stay on topic.
Yeah, just stick to the 12-year-old topic. That's cool.
Didn't want to stray.
That's great. I love it. I love the professional baseball players are still card collectors. It's the joy of the game. 1-2, and Shonowell continues to fight off pitches. Jacob Mizorowski's a big Pokemon guy. Yeah,
well, and I mean, a glove company that I talk a lot about, not only because I thoroughly enjoy their products, they do great work, but 44 Pro has now started to, and I may or may not have something in the works, put together gloves that have sports cards.
In the air, and this will go foul. Down the left field line.
As well as whether it's Disney cards, Pokemon, they have the card actually embedded in the glove.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Very creative. Starting to see a lot more in the game in terms of cleats and batting gloves. Lawrence Butler, of course, all the great accessories all the time, but when you add little things on your glove, whether it's initials of your kids or a Bible verse or things that are important to you, and now you got the baseball card.
That's it.
It's great. See how this battle can end, hopefully in the favor of the green and gold. 1-2. Driven out to right field, and this ball is not coming back. Home run for Nolan Shonowell, and that'll give the Angels a 2-0 lead.
You see where Langoliers is set up. They want this breaking ball backdoor instead. It just stays middle, and Shonowell able to open up and turn on it. And that ball was well struck by the first baseman. Well struck.
Von Grissom takes a pitch, 1-0. It's on the 4th home run that Severino's allowed here in the month of May. This one in the air, and it's going to go foul out of play. Grissom has started the last couple of days. Yesterday, reached base on a hit by pitch. He's also had a hit high in the air towards shallow center, and Lawrence Butler will come in to make the catch. 2 gone. It's good to see Lawrence back in the outfield, trying to get going offensively so he can continue to provide a great presence. Look at these numbers for Luis Severino when it comes to the first 2 innings. It's where you want to try and navigate and get through. It's been tough for Severino at times.
Well, it's just been a combination of maybe some early damage and some early command issues. It's kind of why I brought up the point the other night about being able to settle into your outing, even if the first inning or 2 are a little bumpy. It might not be until that 5th inning where you start to actually feel like you're back in control, or you at least have a much better feel for the strike zone and your release point than you did in the early go.
Head 0-2 to Joe Adell. Here's the pitch, a swing and a miss. The sweeper will end the first inning here. Bookend by strikeouts, but a 2-run homer has the Angels up.
Welcome back. Time now for StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. Going through a tunnel. At least that's what these A's hitters are going to be dealing with tonight. You see the four-seam fastball and that big power knuckle curveball from Soriano. We know how that first inning went. Punched out the side. A couple of those on that big power curveball. Got Nick Kurtz on a split at 94. There's the fastball, the sinking variety at 97. We've seen the four-seamer at 99. And the idea that all of these pitches, but mainly the two that play vertically, being that big curveball and that high-octane fastball coming out of the same spot, the same window, it forces these hitters to have to make swing decisions probably a little earlier than they'd like to, just because you're dealing with top-tier velocity on both offerings, and you can't really wait around. And we talk so much about having to stay on the fastball when we're in the 96-plus neighborhood, because you just have limited reaction time.
Brent Rooker with a 1-2 count. So the good numbers that Rooker's had in his career against Soriano.
And that was a big part of, I think, the early success for Soriano was just how dominant both of those offerings were.
Two and two now. I mean, you know what you've done against a guy as a pitcher. You obviously have your catalog against hitters as a hitter. You see who's pitching. You go, Soriano. Oh, yeah, that's right. 462 was the batting average, I think. You know right away that you've done some damage. 6 for 13's Rooker with the homer, a couple doubles. Worked into a full count here.
You know, it's funny you bring that up. I was talking to Everyday Eddie Gradado, fellow 209er out of Stockton, California. Left-hander who could probably go get you a few outs right now if you asked him nicely. But I asked him about some of the hitters he faced.
And a swing and a miss. 99 gets Rooker 4 straight batters face, 4 strikeouts.
Well, this is just rearing back and challenging Brent Rooker with a fastball. 99, outer third, come and get it. If you're going to beat me, it's going to have to be the other way, and it's going to be on my best pitch. And unfortunately, this battle goes to Soriano. But I asked Eddie Gradado, as Tyler Soderstrom offers it the first sinker he sees for strike one, who was a guy, and he knew where I was going, started smiling, and he said, Giambi, Big G. Meaning, who was a guy who you had battles with, who you knew you were going to be locking horns with when he came up to the plate, and he even acknowledged as much that it was probably earlier in G's career, just because he maybe sprayed the ball around a little more.
Swung on in the air. This won't be a strikeout. It'll be the second baseman and Frazier going to shallow right to make the catch. 2 gone.
And then you start to evolve not only yourself, but you understand that your opponent is evolving. And from there, Eddie talked about being able to identify certain holes, certain pockets in swings, and that starting to give you confidence against a guy who may have had your number earlier.
There's that Geloff with 2 outs. He swings at the first pitch. A high fly ball, but foul. Out of play. Who was your guy that you went to battle with?
You'd probably just say Major League Baseball. Just
were they on a big league roster?
Anybody that rolled up to the plate with a bat.
Anytime between 2007, 2011, log service time.
Well, I mean, here in Anaheim, there were many a good battles, and a lot of those with a guy by the name of Sean Figgins, Eric Ibar, I mean, guys that just put the ball in play at will. And for a guy like me who was not gonna dominate a lineup with big swing and miss offerings or big time velocity, I mean, I'm a guy that there's fights at the bat rack that are breaking out, just waiting to get up to the plate.
Had some limos sent your way, get you to the ballpark. Give yourself a little more credit.
But that was the fun, and that's something that Eddie and I were talking about as well. Is you knew who those challenges were, and I don't care if you'd given up a hit 99 times to this guy in a row. You wanted that 100th matchup because that was going to be the matchup that you won, right?
Yeah.
That's the one I'm going to get him on.
It's competing. That's what Zach Gelof's doing right now. Works back into the count, 2-2. Gelof's 4 for 13 in this series. Has a homer here in Anaheim, and that's a swing and a miss. Knuckle curve also gets Gelof 5 strikeouts through 6 batters faced for Soriano. True baseball fans need Wi-Fi that's so reliable it never gets caught looking. Xfinity Internet keeps you in the game at one price for 5 years and allows you to get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Hey, can I have a ball? Can I have a ball? Can we have a ball?
Please. Please, please.
Can I get a ball?
Anyone? Ground ball to first. Kurtz gets there, and he's going to have to throw off balance.
Oh.
What a great play. Severino there and gets to the bag in time. That is not easy for the big fella ranging to his right.
Well, what makes this play so difficult is just how far he's got to go. This is a hard hit ground ball. Kurtz has to range to the right. He's not going to have an opportunity to spin the other way and make a throw, especially with where his momentum is taking him. So he opens up and has to fire basically backwards. Young A's fan, very impressed, as we all are.
Can't talk enough about the defensive improvement we've seen for Nick Kurtz this year, but it's not just about, being able to handle the bag or the ground balls he gets. It's plays like that. It's the instinctual plays of completing them and getting outs. And that's the difference between a base runner right now and one out at the bottom of this order. Jose Siri, who hasn't had many at-bats this season. 2 for 5 in a very small sample.
Well, Kurtz does a fabulous job on his end. Not only get to this baseball, scoop it up, but make the throw that he does. And you got to credit Severino.
Swing and a miss. Goes to the sweeper. Gets Siri.
Severino doing a nice job of reaching back behind him. He loves the big Amish. Love to have you churn out an auto if you could, big fella. I'll just be sitting here waiting, just whenever you can.
That means autograph, right?
It does.
Just checking.
It does.
Shortening all the words these days,
Well, they got RCOC autos, right? Rookie card, on-card auto.
Did you learn that from Mike Trout at your dinner?
No.
Oh, you knew that one already. Okay, my bad. Rivera down 0-2. After a 22-pitch first inning, would be nice for Severino to work through this one quickly, and he does. The sweeper for another strikeout. 4 Ks for Luis Severino.
Well, time now for Built for the Big Moment by your Bay Area Chevrolet dealers. J-Mac stepped up in a big spot and showed you that he was built for the moment. Just a little talking to it. Get out of here. Get out of here. Good ball. Big homer last night in the 9th inning.
A ground ball to Shonowell. He'll jog it to the bag, 1 out.
But he has been such a treat to watch on both sides of the baseball.
A lot to like about what he's brought to the Athletics, no question. Here's Darrell Hernandez. Swings at the first pitch, a high fly ball out to center. Jose Siri, 2 gone.
Well, Jenny, I was looking down at the first base coach's box, and I was wondering, have they re-chalked it? Does it look smaller, or is the individual in the box just taking up a little more space? I don't know. That's Mike Eldretti, Aldo, our man Aldo, making a guest appearance over there at first base. That's because normal first base coach Ryan Christensen is, well, a proud papa, as he should be, because he's got not 1 but 2 graduates.
That's awesome.
Cassidy said see you later to the school books, graduated with a master's. That was last weekend. And how about Cam graduating from high school today? So congratulations to Rhino and the whole fam.
That's right, the Christensen kids doing big things. Very cool. Very cool. Probably a nice moment too for Aldo, getting to be out on the field here. California Angels. Bounces in.
Just wondering if anybody had to show him where the first base coach box was.
Come on.
Well, and look, he's already flirting with breaking the rule, if I'm being honest. He is tiptoeing on that line. Get back in your box, Aldo.
2-1 to Butler, and this will be a ground ball chop high to second. Frazier to Shonowell, another 3 up, 3 down. Jose Soriano's face 9 through 3. Take the A's on the go this season and stream the games on the NBC Sports app, brought to you by Toyota. Beautiful look. Pacific Ocean. And your house. Saw your house in that shot.
Oh, did you now?
What is it? 10 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms right on the beach there?
Yeah, it's where we like to summer.
Not too far away from your actual house. That's interesting. 0-1 count here for Adam Frazier. Begins the bottom of the 3rd, at the bottom of the order, and then back to the top. And he went through 0-2. Severino gave up a home run to Nolan Shonowell. That was the 3rd batter of the game he faced. He had Mike Trout on, so it's 2-0. Since then, able to retire the next 5. Let's get Shonowell.
Bit of an excuse me take there. Not that time.
There you go. Frazier with the strikeout. That's 5 now for Severino. So these pitchers matching each other.
Both these dudes are dialing up the swing and miss right now. Sevy just working the old meat ladder, 97 mile an hour. Fastball, top shelf. Can get you a cheese biscuit.
Neto takes a pitch outside. Zach struck out to lead off the game. You see that 72 now. No strikeouts in the American League. I don't want to project out too far, but 50 games in, another 2/3 of the season to go. The number
starts to climb.
Could get pretty big.
Quickly. You know, it's always something that is fun to think about when we start talking about that many strikeouts. I mean, Jenny, we're talking about, and who do I always bring up when this happens, right? Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
First 3-4 seasons of his career, he didn't strike out that much. Neto down again.
Changeup got him. 6 now for Severino. That is 4 strikeouts in a row.
Hey, Sevy, paint me like one of your French girls. Dot it. Can I help you, Mr. Neto? Yeah. No, thanks. Just looking.
All right, 73 Ks for Neto now on the season. Here's Mike Trout. He has one of the 2 hits for the Angels. And he'll take a strike. Trout and Sevy have a little history.
A little bit. Looking for some revisionist history here for Sevy. Mike Trout hitting a cool 5 hundo against Sevy with some damage.
2-1 now. And Mike Trout, you know, the offense that he can provide when things are right. The Angels center fielder hasn't been right at home so far this year. Batting average coming into tonight, just 188 at the Big A. 3 home runs and 5 RBI. That's it, 5.
Well, I think it's worth acknowledging that Mike Trout has already kind of undergone an effort to change some things at the plate with his setup, with the lower half. We've seen him try to deploy that step back move that, Jenny, I know you have watched a guy for a very long time in Nolan Arenado, who lower half, I'm not going to call it noisy, but there's some movement in the box with Nolan.
And a swing and a miss. Moving for Sevy, got him on the sweeper, and we will move on to the 4th.
MLB is partnering with Crisis Text Line to increase mental health awareness. Free 24-hour, 7-day-a-week confidential support in English and Spanish. Just text MLB to 741-741.
Jose Soriano back to work and back in the strike zone. No one count to Carlos Cortez. That batter Soriano's facing, and we have not been disappointed so far with this pitching matchup, Dallas.
No, it has been fantastic. I mean, it's outside of the long ball from Shonowell, it has been pitch for pitch between Severino and Soriano. Both these guys with a bunch of punch outs already. I mean, we saw it the other night with Detmers, but Soriano punched out the first 5 or 6 hitters he faced. Sevy with 7 right now.
And one shy of a season high for Severino.
And think about that. We're through 3 innings, 7 punch outs.
Yeah.
Knocking on the door of a season high.
Carlos Cortez looking to get something going for the A's here in the 4th. Holds up, they will check him, and that checks for Chris Guccione.
Well, I think what tonight's ball game is emphasizing is what happens when you have guys that have similar arsenals. I mean, it's the big power curveball from Soriano versus the sweeper that Severino features, but both guys able to run up that 95, 99, 100 mile an hour four-seam fastball, the sinker at 96 plus. But the idea that both of those pitches were Soriano, I talked about the vertical game up and down with the fastball breaking ball. Sevy side to side with the sinker sweeper.
1-2, Cortez will have the first hit of the game into center field. And the leadoff hitter aboard as the ball's coming back in, and he's out. Cortez got caught up too far off of first base. And will be a promising start to the 4th here. Turns into the first out.
Well, Cortez with a hot shot up the middle. But Siri going to make a strong throw back, and I think it's just a matter of Siri kind of slow playing it out there. And a strong, accurate throw behind Cortez, who took a big turn, ends up paying off. You know, this is similar to what we see with Jeff McNeil, who's constantly looking for different ways to collect outs. Siri and company doing the same here. And Carlos Cortez may have broken up a little bit of the momentum from Soriano, but with getting backdoored there at first base, they're able to keep this train moving right along.
1-2 count now for Shea Langoliers. It's part of the intrigue for the Angels, and having Jose Siri as part of their big league roster right now is the defensive capabilities of him. swing and a miss. I mean, what do you even do with that?
Well, you do that right there, which is what Shea Langoliers did, and I mean, he missed it by quite a wide margin. And that just kind of proves the point I was making about what happens when you're able to continue to dial up the fastball for strikes. Guys have to get ready to hit it. They have to respect it. And then you throw that big breaking ball right out of that same spot. Good luck.
0-1 for Nick Kurtz. Six strikeouts for Soriano now. Top of the order here, seen a heavy dose of that knuckle curve. Check in. 1-2.
You know, that big power curveball from Soriano kind of reminds me of the power curveball from a former teammate of mine, Gio Gonzalez. I mean, it was an absolute banger. Mid-80s, tough pitch to get to.
Pitch inside, 2-2.
You know, Brett Anderson had a power slider as well that would just make hitters look absolutely foolish. But I mean, there's a difference between that slider and that big power curveball that we're seeing.
Full count now for Kurtz. And to extend his on-base streak here today. Longest active sitting of 43 games. Brent Rooker on deck. Take the pitch, and he will walk, but it's going to be an ABS challenge.
Pitch was ruled a ball. The catcher is challenging.
It looked like that ball probably well down.
Calls confirmed. Ball 4. Los Angeles has 1 challenge remaining.
Well, Nick Kurtz continuing to close the gap on the man of steel. Just 2 games now behind Ricky Henderson, who sits 3rd on the all-time A's list.
So impressive what Nick's been able to do. That's the last time he hasn't reached base in a game. We have to flip the calendar back a few months. March 31st.
Just been incredible.
Two outs and a base runner on for Brent Rooker.
You know, and to his credit, it's a guy who hasn't necessarily been penciled in the same exact spot in the lineup. Now, in the same upper third consistently, but we've seen him hit leadoff numerous times. We've seen him in that 2 spot tonight, sitting in the 3 hole.
Ground ball, and it's going to get through. Nick Kurtz will go to second. Second hit of the game. 2 on with 2 outs.
Well, you'll love to see that from Brent Rooker. Rook able to catch a heater. You can tell that hits tough to come by to start the ball game here for both sides. So if you can keep that line moving with 2 outs like the A's have here, a good chance to try to capitalize.
Good dude at the plate to do it too in Tyler Soderstrom. A's hitting 280 as a team with runners in scoring position. Sody's numbers have dropped a bit. He's collected a lot of extra base hits in that spot. A bouncer to second. Unfortunately, this time it's going to turn into the final out. 2 left on for the A's. They did get 2 hits. We're at the bottom of the 4th. A's down by 2.
The new era of baseball in Las Vegas is just around the corner. For only $19.01, you can secure priority access to 2028 season tickets at the future A's ballpark. Get early access to everything A's, including the chance at season tickets ahead of the general public. And with this, remember, you contribute directly to youth softball and baseball initiatives all throughout Southern Nevada. So to secure your spot, visit athletics.com/Vegas.
Here's Nolan Shonowell. He takes a strike. Had the 2-run homer in the first, and that's where we sit. 2-0 Angels. A's had some traffic, but not able to capitalize in the top half of the frame. Unfortunately, Carlos Cortez got the first hit of the game, was thrown out by the center fielder, Jose Siri. Ground ball weakly hit and foul.
And Shonowell gets a breaking ball, thigh high, that just starts to spin right into the wheelhouse, and he spun on it himself, and my goodness, that ball got out of here quickly and put the halos up quickly. But that was all the offense we have seen from the Angels since then.
To center field, Lawrence all over it, 1 out. And that's something too in this 4-game set, Dallas. We just kind of kept shaking our heads about the lack of offense for the Angels at home, specifically when it came to the home run, but they've been able to hit a homer in all 4 games.
Well, and you can take it if you just give up the solo homers. It's the ones with guys on that obviously hurt just a bit more. I feel like you can survive a barrage of solo shots. But it's when you start giving up a couple 2-3-run homers a game, that's a gap that gets big and tough to close.
One and 2 now for Grissom. Flew out to center field. Good to see Lawrence back in the mix. News today on Denzel Clark. Not great news for him. Unfortunately, he's going to have to continue on the IL. Ground ball, but foul. And here it is. He's been on the IL, the 10-day IL, since April 22nd, but he has returned to Sacramento from his rehab assignment after he had a significant left hamstring strain on Tuesday. So it's been the bone bruise in his foot. Geloff over to first, and 2 gone. Now let's get a word from your Bay Area Chevrolet dealers.
The Chevy Silverado and the open road, and tackling whatever's on the other side. There's a lot of country out there, and the Silverado is always ready.
See your Sacramento area Chevy dealers, proud partner of the A's.
So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th, and that will bring up Joe Adell. Just finishing up on Denzel Clark. He's going to be reassessed after the All-Star break. It's probably not the news that he wanted. But again, we're seeing the depth, right? We're seeing the depth of what this team can do, as Joe Adell's going to take his time out with an 0-1 count.
Well, that's one of the unfortunate things about finding yourself on the injured list is you become so centrally focused on what has kept you off the field of play, and because you haven't been quite moving around with the same vigor as you would when you're completely healthy, at times you just start to make movements, and because your body is still trying to react to the work that you put in recovering from one injury, that could very well leave you susceptible to others.
Swing and a miss, late one from Adell, and that is now 8 strikeouts, matching the season high for Severino. Get all your highlights, analysis, live updates, and more. Everything an athletics fan needs. The NBC Sports California app. Download now. Love the artsy shot at sunset here. Geloff takes a pitch outside from Jose Soriano. 5th inning, and the Angels up 2-0.
Soriano has soared his way through this Athletics lineup.
First 9 batters he faced, all retired. 5 strikeouts first time through the order. He's added another, so 6 total on the evening. 1-2 here for Geloff.
I mean, he has just been utterly dominant with that curveball.
See where he goes here on the 1-2 to Geloff. High fly ball out to center field, and Jose Siri will back up to it. 1 out.
Well, as you know, June is right around the corner and it's heating up. Get ready for a massive month of baseball in West Sacramento as the A's host legendary rivals like the Buccos, these Angels here tonight, as well as the Dodgers. Whether you're coming for the AL West showdowns or exclusive summer giveaways, June is packed with spectacular entertainment and family fun. Get your tickets at athletics.com/tickets.
1 out, and that'll bring up Jeff McNeil. McNeil grounded out back in the 3rd inning. Now, how about those Buccos? A National League squad that you like to follow.
How about Brandon Lau inside the park homer today?
It was crazy.
Scooting.
Started the game off that way in the 1st inning. Everyone in the National League Central above 500.
I mean, that's just that's quite a storyline, I think, this season. You know, the past handful of years and probably even beyond that, it just feels like both Central divisions have seemingly been up for grabs, almost like a who wants to finally take charge of this division during the 2nd half. I mean, we saw the epic comeback of the Guardians / collapse of the Tigers. I mean, it feels like the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs could very well be poised to duke it out. Don't count out the St. Louis Cardinals.
Don't count them out. I mean, obviously, they were just in West Sacramento. You saw how talented that young team can be. The Brewers did just sweep the Cubs. Of course, the A's will have the Cubs coming up to begin the month of June out on the road at Wrigley. 3-2 is the count now against Jeff McNeil. McNeil was the hero yesterday. Homer in the 9th inning tied the game. Sent it to extras, and the A's ending up victorious 6-5. It was a 13th comeback win for the Athletics as well on the season. In the air out towards center field, charging into left field is Siri, and he'll make the catch. Couple outs to the Angels center fielder. And now Daryl Hernandez up for the 2nd time.
Well, you mentioned the presence of Jose Siri out there defensively. Anytime you have an opportunity to keep Mike Trout in the lineup, but maybe off his feet to the tune of not having to stand around out there in the outfield, doing whatever you can to preserve him from a health perspective. But Siri, a nice guy to have to lean on defensively.
0-2 to Daryl Hernandez. Daryl hit 9th yesterday, reached base twice on a walk and a hit by pitch. Scored 1 of the 6 runs for the Athletics. He's also produced with a couple hits and a couple RBI this series against the Angels. Lays off. 2-2. I mean, guys that are able to lay off that pitch, you're seeing that lunge early. We saw Shea Langoliers, obviously. Swing at it, nowhere near it. Pitch number 70 coming up for Soriano. And the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Goes to the heater. And he gets Hernandez for his 7th strikeout of the game. Two hits, no runs for the Athletics. 2 hits, 2 runs for the Angels. Bottom of 5, and Luis Severino has settled in nicely to this one after a 2-run home run to Nolan Shonowell in the first. He's been filling up the strike zone. Gets ahead of Josh Lowe to begin the 5th. And 2.
Both guys have just been steady carving. Angels took a little bit of a chip out of the sculpture of Severino. But on the flip side, Soriano chiseling out a Michelangelo-esque David type night.
And the 1-2. Fouled again. Severino had 22 pitches in that first inning and then able to come back with single digits in the second. Just 9. 14 in the third. 13 in the fourth.
Well, the way these two guys have pitched tonight, you know, this is an example of when we talk about understanding that you are going up against an offense if you're a starting pitcher and not necessarily the opposing pitcher, but still understanding is Josh Lowe's gonna,
Oh no.
Yep,
We got the Nats back.
try to wave the gnats away. You still ultimately have to contend with what the other individual on the mound is doing. So you are, in a sense, competing against that other fella. I mean, it has been an absolute dogfight.
It certainly has. It's Jose Siri on deck. Payoff pitch. Fouled again.
And it's an at-bat like this here from Josh Lowe that could start to frustrate Severino. You're in a full count. You got to make a pitch right now to keep Lowe off the bases.
Pitch 10 of the at-bat.
Man. Because Jenny, it's an at-bat like this that if it does end up in an out, Severino is almost able to gather momentum, believe it or not, even through an extended at-bat like this.
Up in the air, it's heading foul, and it'll be out of play over the net.
No, but should Josh Lowe, for whatever reason, end up on base, I think you might even just see a mound meeting, and then you start to disrupt the rhythm a little bit for Severino.
And the pitch. Another foul ball. keep it moving.
You know, there's a group out today before the ball game getting a little early work in the cage. Some bunting practice. Lowe was a part of that group.
Into center field, and Lawrence Butler out to play it on the bounce. A base hit for Lowe to win the battle against Luis Severino. So what happens now? You mentioned if Severino was able to get out of it. Now he has traffic after all those pitches.
Well, and this is where you'd like to be able to take a little walk around the mound if you can. Gather yourself. Just take a deep breath and get right back on the hill and get after it. And now you.
And first pitch, it'll be a bouncer to Geloff, to McNeil off to first. That's the way to come back right there. Turn 2 off 1 pitch.
And a fantastic job by Geloff to get rid of it. An even better job by Jeff McNeil to hang in there on the pivot and sling it over to Kurtz to get the 5-4-3 taken care of. Nice candy hop to Geloff. McNeil gonna spin it over to Kurtzy, and you're right back in line. Just a great job on the turn by the second baseman.
I got Rivero 0-2. Takes his timeout, so a 14-pitch AB to Josh Lowe. And a swing and a miss. Out of it is Severino. 9 strikeouts. That's a season high.
Make a splash with another Sacramento Saturday. That's May 30th as the Yankees come on into town. You can be one of the first through the gates to snag a premium A's beach towel. Available only while supplies last. Visit athletics.com/promotions to secure yours today.
That's Jose Soriano back to work. A ground ball to second from Butler. Turns in to the first out. Carlos Cortez coming up now.
Well, just tough luck for Law Dog. Good swing on a ball, hard hit. He got a guy there.
Soriano will start the 3rd time through the Athletics order. First 2 times, it was pretty darn good. Allowed 2 hits. One of them came off the bat of Carlos Cortez. Big contact, though, Dallas. I mean, the mix of a fastball and the breaking ball, the power breaking ball, as you mentioned that he has. A lot of swing and miss tonight.
Well, it's been a delight to watch just from purely a pitching perspective. Not a big fan of how the offense has been subdued. But, look, there's just going to be nights where you run into a guy, and it's not like Soriano doesn't have this in him. We talked about the start to his season and how dominant that was. And really, I mean, the last handful of starts or so have clearly not been as clean as the first 6. But you can understand why just by looking at what he's done tonight. What happens when he's on and when he's dialed in.
Well, when he's seen the A's, it hasn't been great. A 9 ERA for Soriano against the green and gold. You go back to just the beginning of last year. Numbers not shining. A 7.81 ERA in the 6 starts since he's faced the Athletics, just back to last year. So a lot of the similar guys that you're seeing. But he's a different pitcher. I mean, that's how it felt at the start of the year. You highlighted again the great April that he had. In those first 5 starts, even, Dallas, he didn't allow more than 3 hits in any of his outings. Tough to generate offense. To second again, and Frazier's getting his work done here tonight. 2 gone.
Well, I mean, there's small subtle changes that guys can make that can lead to differences in the results you're getting. And it's not like there's a huge change for Soriano. Arm angle down a couple degrees. You know, this year sitting at a 32-degree arm angle as opposed to in years past a 36-degree angle. So you see a difference of 4 degrees. But what we all think, or what we all understand and know about pitching, is how difference in arm angle and release point can definitely affect the profile of pitches, meaning what their movement looks like, how the ball comes out of the hand.
Swung on, drilled out towards left field. Going back is low, and it's off the wall. Shea into second. It's the first extra base hit here for the Athletics. A double for Shea, now 20 straight games reaching base safely.
Go to work. And there's been a few hard hit balls tonight, but this one, Langolier is able to jump all over a curveball in the strike zone. One hop hammer drop off the base of the wall. See if Nick Kurtz now, who's done a fine job in spots just like this with runners in scoring position, can't pick up the backstop.
I mean, fine in capital letters for Nick Kurtz with runners in scoring position. My goodness. Dominant.
Good effort there by Rivero. Get the glove on it. Yeah, but I mean, Nick Kurtz is 485 with runners in scoring position good? Feels good.
Feels excellent. It's second in all of baseball right now. Only Yandy Diaz is better. Just by a point. 86. You look at 11 hits in his last 14 at-bats for Kurtz with runners in scoring position. He's eating him in a big way here.
Well, and his willingness to just go back up the middle with the baseball in spots like this.
Swung on a ground ball. That'll get through. Into the outfield. Shea Langolier's coming home, and the A's are on the board once again off the bat of Nick Kurtz. A 2-1 game now. That's RBI 36 for the big fella.
And Jenny, like I was saying, his willingness to go back up the middle in spots just like this is what has allowed Nick Kurtz to have the success that he's had with runners in scoring position. And that speaks to an approach. I was talking about it with some friends of mine earlier today. And when you see guys that walk up to the plate with an approach that might be different from what their overall profile says, which is Nick Kurtz comes with otherworldly power to every field known to man. But in a spot where you need to pick up a run, a spot where you need to take an approach into the at-bat that the game is asking you to take, that's what you want to see show up. You want to see a guy make an adjustment to the moment right there, and that's what Nick Kurtz has done all series long. All series. All season. To heck with the series.
Certainly has. Now a great opportunity for Rooker to try and keep it going with 2 outs.
And it's not to say that Nick Kurtz can't power this ball to a different part of the ballpark or even out of the ballpark. But what do? You see the ball as long as you possibly can. You hit it hard somewhere, and for Kurtz, right back up through the middle.
There's the 1-1 to Rooker.
You know, and I think what's really impressive about that for Nick Kurtz is, again, this is a young guy who is still feeling his way through how he's being attacked at the big league level. Because there's guys who just know, right? When you're going through the scouting report, this dude right here, can't let this guy beat us. Got to make a pitch to this guy with runners in scoring position. Don't want to give him something he can do damage on.
His name is highlighted, and you know he's probably going to get on base at some point, so then you got to look at the guys behind him.
Well, and it's odd to even think that with Nick Kurtz just standing on first base is a victory in and of itself, but you'd much rather this be a 2-1 game if you're the Halos right now, as opposed to a tie ball game.
And the 1-2 in the air. to right field. Joe Adell will make the routine catch, and that will end the threat here in the 6th. But Nick Kurtz got the A's on the board. Time for the upcoming schedule, brought to you by Service Champions. Well, the Southern California road trip continues this weekend against the San Diego Padres. Be down at Petco Park for 3 over the weekend, then back home. The Mariners coming to West Sacramento to kick things off, followed by the New York Yankees. Big week coming up. Big opportunity here. The A's were down 2-0. Got a run across in the 6th. Shea Langmuir had a double, and Nick Kurtz drove him in. Now Luis Severino back to work. Adam Frazier, Zach Neto, Mike Trout.
Well, after the long at bat that Severino went through last half inning against Mr. Lowe, see that pitch count knocking on the door of 80 now.
Crazy that a 14 pitch at bat that resulted in a single with no outs ends up being an 18 pitch inning.
That's what happens when you dial up a double play right after.
So everyone on the defense got it done. Now the work continues. Here's the 2-2. Popped up on the left side. This will go out towards Tyler Soderstrom, charging in, and the infielders that were out gave way. 1 out. Now let's get a word from the Sacramento Airport. One out in the bottom of the 6th in a 2-1 game. Jenny Kavner, Dallas Braden with you. Glad you're along with us. Zach Neto in the air out to right field. And Carlos Cortez in to make the 2nd out.
In an inning like this helps Sevy get right back on track. Not that he wasn't.
Mike Trout coming up. Had a single in the 1st, one of 3 hits for the Angels tonight, and take the pitch. 1-0. A pretty good one. That is a strike. Strikeouts for Luis Severino here tonight. Another ground ball. More opportunity for the infielders. Hernandez with a nice play and a throw over to Kurtz to complete. We'll go to the 7th. A's trail by 1. The 2026 All-Star Teacher Award presented by Provident Credit Union. Go to NBCSportsCalifornia.com/AST to check out Kristen Kircher of Berry Elementary School in Yuba City, as well as other finalists, and vote for your All-Star Teacher. The grand prize winning teacher school receive $30,000. Tyler Soderstrom up the middle, and Zach Neto comes over to play it safe at first. What a hustle from Sodi up the line, and what an effort by Neto.
Yeah, this ball just too far up the middle. Neto, though, able to corral it, just wasn't going to be able to get enough on the ball to complete the play. And that's the difference. You got Soderstrom hustling from the right side. The left side batter's box, but the right side at the plate.
Now Zach Geloff up. Nobody out and 1 on for the A's. Check over on Sodi. Our spirited crowd once again here tonight at the Big A. Angels just 17-33 on the season. Currently up 2-1 against the Athletics here in the 4th and final game of this series. Jose Soriano and Luis Severino have matched through 6 innings. That's the difference of the score. Both have collected their strikeouts. And pretty interesting, Dallas, when you look at pitch count. It was 86 pitches coming into the 7th here for Soriano, 85 for Severino. And of course, we got the boys of summer, tarps off kind of summer.
Tarps are off. Boy, that has been a theme in my life here as of recently. Sat down with a friend of mine the other day on the interweb, if you will, doing a little podcast. Next thing I know, I'm staring at a shirtless wonder across the screen.
Oh my.
Shut out Milky.
Swing and a miss for Geloff, 2-2. That's alarming.
You're telling me. You're telling me. I'm not gonna tell you that I didn't request it, but nonetheless.
Chase Silseth warming up. His jersey is on, just so you know. You can look.
I think there might be rules against that.
The way you phrased it, I thought yours had been off. Here's a ground ball to third. Backed up is Grissom to second, on to first, and Geloff beats it out. Able to avoid a double play. 1 out, and Geloff replaces Soderstrom.
Well, Grissom with a big hop range into his left. Gets rid of it. Frazier just not going to have quite enough time with the speedy Geloff booking it down the line.
Speed at first, and Jeff McNeil up. Called strike to McNeil. Along with Soriano's 7 strikeouts, has been able to induce 6 ground ball outs. And McNeil with a liner, but just foul down the right field line.
Just foul indeed.
Yesterday he was able to talk the ball and getting out of the ballpark down the right field line.
He was.
This time he can't talk the ball into landing on the right side of the track.
Well, you know, I find it interesting that the Nats have showed up virtually every game of this series, but in the same exact spot.
Same spot.
Same spot, just out in front of home plate.
And that's the shot. You can see him right there kind of gathering. No spray out tonight yet. Let's see if that becomes a thing. A pick over, and he's safe.
Geloff making a dive back towards the outfield side at first base. You can see him get off with a quick little shuffle and then just kind of slide that hand up against the backside of the bag.
Geloff a threat at first. 4 stolen bases for him this season. Faked the takeoff, and McNeil fouls it back. Michael Dreddy, the first base coach tonight, filling in for Ryan Christensen, spending some time with his kids for graduation.
Aldo getting the work in.
Aldo getting the stopwatch work in, right? And the pitch foul.
If we were talking about Aldo running, he'd probably be better off using his sundial.
Get out of here. You go back and look at that sprint speed on Baseball Savant for when Aldo played. That was around, right? Metrics?
I think it says molasses. Now, Aldo could get it.
Yeah, he could.
Well, now with Soriano having checked on Geloff a couple times. See if Geloff decides to get a little frisky over there at first base.
pitch outside. For your information, it was 19 stolen bases for Mike Aldrete. He also had 18 caught stealing.
So maybe not quite a pick your spot guy.
Another foul ball.
No, but I was, again, yesterday having a good conversation with longtime Angel Hall of Famer Tim Salmon. But, I mean, Mark Langston, Mark Gubicza both giving high praise to Chris Crone and Mike Aldrete, just referred to both of them as professional hitters and guys who just knew how to get hits. And I think anytime that fella on the bottom there, the left-hander Mark Langston, and Tim Salmon, a guy who could just absolutely bludgeon the baseball at will, consistently, night in, night out. When they acknowledge as much.
Pitch, it's high. Geloff did go and in, safe.
Well,
right now it's 5 stolen bases for Geloff. We'll see if the Angels want to take a look at it.
And I think there's always a thought to taking a look at it anytime you got a player that slides through the bag like this. But once you get the conversation between the folks in the video room and the dugout, it's like they're going to think better of it this time. And this is what we've seen Geloff do a great job of, is once he gets to the bag, he's able to hold the bag with his hand until that foot comes through and eventually makes contact.
Now runner in scoring position for McNeil. With 2-2. And he just serves it right over to shortstop. He's flying up the line, but out at first. Geloff moved over to third.
Well, McNeil not happy. I think ultimately looking for a silver lining. Geloff was able to move up another 90 feet, but McNeil, in just an outstanding effort of an at-bat, finally able to put it in play, busting it down the line. And you got to give credit to Neto here, who doesn't take any extra time to get rid of it, knows he's going to have to get the exchange and get the throw off, and he does so nicely.
Tying run 90 feet from home here with 2 outs. And 0-1 count for Darryl Hernandez. It's been a bright spot for the A's. 2 out RBIs. Got their lone run that way in the 6th inning. Kurtz had an RBI single with 2 outs. Hardliner out to left. That's going to drop. Here comes the tying run, and you see Darryl Hernandez pump his fist towards the A's dugout. We are all tied up in the 7th.
That is big time. Just a big time at bat from Darryl Hernandez. You said it, partner, something the Athletics have done a fantastic job of, and that step up and get a big hit with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and Darryl the Barrel delivers again. Playing a little bingo up there against Soriano, who has been blocking boxes all night. Well, this time he's on the opposite end of it. Darryl with a fist pump, Soriano with his dauber down. And that at bat from Darryl going to knock him out of the ball game. We are all knotted up here at the top of the 7th. 1 on, 2 outs. We'll be back.
A's Baseball is brought to you by Red Hawk Resort and Casino, taking entertainment to a new level. Back here in Anaheim, 2 outs and 1 on in the top of the 7th. A tied game as they check over on Darryl Hernandez. Able to come up with a big 2-out knock. Geloff plated. And a fresh start here against Chase Silseth. Jose Soriano's evening done started out so well. The Athletics just kept chipping away, and 3rd time through the order got to him.
Well, considering how the last handful of outings have gone for Soriano. I think this probably a step back in the right direction.
Lawrence Butler's 0 for 2 today. 2 groundouts, both to Adam Frazier at second base.
There's a line for Soriano. He is responsible for Darryl Hernandez at first base.
Taken off is Hernandez, and he'll get in there.
Well, a good pitch to run on. It's a breaking ball down in the dirt that Rivero had to backhand. You see the jump. Pretty good jump there from Darryl. Silseth about a 1.5, 1.5 home.
Two and two now for Butler. He's just one of the dynamic weapons that this A's team has, right? A roster built on athleticism. We're seeing him fold here, putting some pressure on, getting into scoring position. A couple stolen bases here in this inning, and right to the glove of Nolan Shonowell. So a line out for Lawrence Butler ends the 7th, but the run came across and all tied up as we stretch in Anaheim.
Well, this powerful performance is brought to you by Xfinity 1995 College World Series. Right down the road, Cal State Fullerton, they beat Ole Miss, and Mark Kotze led the charge. He was the most outstanding player. You're talking about a dude who was doing it all, Jenny. And how about the sophomore, Mark Kotze, the Golden Spikes Award winner, Mark Kotze.
Oh, yeah.
Just an unbelievable run to the World Series, All-American. I mean, think about this. This is as a sophomore. For the folks who aren't familiar, Shonowell lifts one out into shallow right. Jeff McNeil back with a wave in the air. And it'll be out number 1 for Severino here in the 7th. But the Golden Spikes Award winner goes to the top amateur player in the country. And it doesn't matter, you can be a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I think more times than not you feel like that could be reserved for a player just a bit more mature or a little further along in their collegiate career. But Mark Kotze, as a sophomore, slashed .422, .492 with a 776 slug. That's a 1268 OPS for those doing napkin math. 21 homers, 90 runs batted in, 15 stolen bases, and by the way, he was the school's closer.
Oh yeah, sure.
11 saves, a 0.31 ERA.
Anything else?
Quite possibly. Oh, you know what? No, I mean, it wasn't. Did I say Ole Miss? I think it was USC.
Beat the Trojans.
Beat the brakes off the Trojans. And
then, of course, his daughter goes and graduates from that school. The audacity.
Well, look, he still claims it.
It's great. Got to see his daughter graduate just a couple weeks ago. In the Hall of Fame for the Titans. Went in 2007. Probably because of that entire list of accolades you just mentioned. Two out to left. Soderstrom with the catch. 2 gone. So a combo outfielder, relief pitcher, college player of the decade for the 90s to go with the Golden Spikes?
I'm going to say it. The relief pitcher title is frankly disrespectful because he was the closer. He was the stopper. You needed the game to be done, no questions asked. Dial up the lefty.
Well, we sit here in 2026 and people still argue probably one of the best college baseball players to ever play the game.
I'll argue with whoever wants to argue. He is.
And that was over 30 years ago.
Well, and think about this. The next year, he hit 402, 1284 OPS. Instead of the 21 homers, well, he pumped out 20.
His career batting average there over 3 seasons was 404.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Stole 20 bases, drove in 91. Remember, it was 90 RBIs, 15 bags the year before as a sophomore.
Pretty good stuff, no question. Here's the 1-2 to Adele. And they say he's out. Not another for Luis Severino. Joe Adele struck out 3 times tonight.
We're coming to Las Vegas Ballpark this summer. You're not going to want to miss out. You need to lock in standing room only tickets right now. They start at just $15 for the Vegas series, and they're presented by Friedman Injury Law. Catch us taking on the Brew Crew and the Rockies. Plus, enjoy exclusive nightly giveaways and can't miss moments all series long. You going to bring an extra pair of gloves, Jenny? It's the Rockies.
Brewers and the Rockies coming to Vegas. That should be a fun one. We got a fun one here tonight. Knotted up at 2 in the top of the 8th with the top of the order. Carlos Cortez, Shea Langoliers, and Nick Kurtz against Jose Fermin in relief. And Luis Severino threw 7.
Dealing.
10 strikeouts for the Athletic starter tonight. There's the numbers for Fermin this year.
11th ball game of the season for the right-hander.
Ground ball to second. Adam Frazier once again. 1 gone. Those Langoliers that got the rally rolling in the 6th had a double with 2 outs, and then Nick Kurtz drove him in. Gave the A's their first run. They added their second off the bat of Daryl Hernay's last inning. We've certainly seen a lot of that this year, haven't we? The A's, late in games, especially the starter, as good as Jose Soriano was tonight. Just kind of keep seeing pitches, getting through, getting by, and then find your time to strike.
Well, the time is now. Tie ball game, you'd like to go into these last couple innings with a lead. I mean, I think that's fair to say. It's understood, but you just don't want to give this Halo team a chance to step up and win the game in their final at bat without having forced them to put together a couple hits or at least a few quality at bats.
It's a good looking merch right there. 3-1. Do you have anything green and gold in your closet that you can bring to the party?
I've got a few things.
A few different shades, right?
I do.
Different shades. Saw you sporting lots of it last week during the homestand. And a take from Shea. He will head on down to first base. Got a base runner with Nick Kurtz coming up.
We got this great spandex onesie.
Oh boy. As long as it's not tarps off, you go ahead.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a little chit chat. This meeting on the mound brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price. And this is just a reminder, hey, if he gets on base, so be it. What we don't want him to do is take 3 left turns in a jog. Okay, that's what we'd like to stay away from. So let's make him hit our pitch. Let's make sure we're not making mistakes over the middle of the plate. We execute our pitch. We feel good about our chances. That's the kind of the positive reinforcement that conversation consists of.
Kurtz will take a strike. A walk, a single, and an RBI for the A's first baseman tonight. The hit was the 6th for Nick Kurtz in this series against the Angels. This was a 4-game hit streak. Down 0-2. Here's the pitch from Fermin, and it's a ground ball to Adam Frazier. He's going to turn, fire off to second on the transfer. He drops it. So Langelier's out at second. Kurtz will replace him at first.
Well, Frazier did a nice job of getting to the ball quickly, getting rid of it quickly. But I think Nick Kurtz, sensing the potential double play on the horizon, busting it out of the box, which you appreciate, and able to beat out that potential 4-6-3 that would have ended the inning. Instead, it'll be Brent Rooker who gets a crack at it here in the 8th inning with 2 outs.
Have I mentioned 2-out RBIs yet tonight?
You know, tell me more.
I'd like to. I'd really like to tell you more about that. 39% of the runs scored for the Athletics this year have come with 2 outs.
That's timely hitting, defined.
That's how the Athletics won Game 2. They scored 14 runs, and 12 of them came with 2 outs. Rooker had a single back in the 4th. Rooker with some really good numbers against the Angels in his career. .310 career batting average coming into tonight. He's hit lots of homers off them as well. A swing and a miss here, 1-2. 17 home runs against the Halos.
He likes what he sees.
Yeah. Rooker does not have more than 9 home runs against any other team. It's almost double that against the Angels. This one, a grounder, slow roller. Rooker's probably going to get there. He does. Grissom picks it up, had no chance. First and second with 2 outs now.
Well, you can see Fermin finishing with that backside coming across towards the first baseline. And it's not like he's falling off the mound, but as that backside clears, just not down in time to be able to get the foot down and bounce off the mound. And with where the defense was positioned, they just were not going to have a shot. How to bring out pitching coach Mike Maddox. This meeting on the mound brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price.
The signature meeting on the mound with Mike Maddox. Hands on the shoulders. Get him in there and deliver his action for the Angels as well in the bullpen with Brent Suter warming up.
Trying to create that energetic chain between your battery, right?
There you go.
Oftentimes you serve as the literal link between the pitcher and the catcher. Here's our friend Suter B. Brent Suter starting to loosen up now in that Halo bullpen. Left-hander could very well be called upon if Fermin not able to wiggle out of this at any point in time.
Soderstrom has 2 on and 2 outs. 1 for 3 tonight. Starts with a 1-0 count. Batting average not what you're used to for Soderstrom, 197, but he has been able to drive in 23 runs for the A's. Checked into the Halos dugout, 1-1. Severino looking on. 7 wonderful innings tonight from the A's starter. It's going to hit the backstop. Runners moving up. Wild pitch puts Kurtz 90 feet from home. The go-ahead run for the Athletics.
This ball close to hitting Soderstrom. Rivero trying to call timeout. Doesn't get it. Good eye by Sodi, able to lay off that changeup. Close pitch from Fermin, and they're not going to mess around with it any longer. They're just going to send him down to first base. That'll load up the bases, and it'll be Zach Geloff now with the bags juiced.
We often talk about this situation for Geloff. The idea that they passed on that guy to get to me with bases loaded and 2 outs.
Hey.
Have they heard about the 2-out RBI effect yet? Let's see what Zach Geloff can do here. He scored a run, has a stolen base, but over at the plate, takes a strike. Here's the 0-1. Foul back.
And I think what you're doing, if you're Kurt Suzuki and company, Fermin had a little more success, especially with the breaking ball against the right-handers. Right-handers hitting just 111 against the breaking balls. And left-handers, not much more success, but maybe you just like that right-on-right matchup.
And the pitch popped up foul. This will get out of play as well. He's trying to battle through it. 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. And a swing and a miss. Geloff out on strikes, and that'll leave the bases loaded. We remain tied as we go to the bottom of the 8th here in Anaheim. This game summary is brought to you by Toyota. It was a great pitcher's duel tonight. Luis Severino and Jose Soriano matched. Severino 7 innings pitched and a season-high 10 strikeouts, but look at that, 0 walks for him. Put him in a great opportunity as well as his team after the home run that he allowed to Nolan Shonowell. The A's able to chip back in the 6th and the 7th. Nick Kurtz 1 for 4 with an RBI single. We sit at 2-2 now on the bottom of the 8th, and that gives way to the Athletics bullpen. What a job well done by Severino. Only 2 A's pitchers, Dallas. After we look at the numbers from Justin Sterner here, 24th appearance. And a pitch inside 2-0 to Josh Lowe. Only 2 A's pitchers since 2022 have had 10+ strikeouts and no walks in a road game. You go Severino tonight and Jacob Lopez last year in Washington against the Nationals. It was just great to see Sevy all dialed up, especially after the 3rd batter took him yard and he was down 2-0.
When you talk about settling in, I mean, there's no finer example than what you got from Severino tonight. You punch out the leadoff hitter, and then the next 2 reach base. Shonowell obviously driving Mike Trout in with the 2-run homer, but then from there it was I mean, as minimal as it gets. For Severino, there was one base runner after that, and it was that extended at bat against Josh Lowe. Resulted in a double play off the bat of Jose Siri. That was erased.
3-2 grounder to second. McNeil to Kurtz one out.
Well, time now for the play of the day presented by your California Ford dealers. And Sevy just absolutely chopping up this Halo lineup. 3 hits, just 2 earned runs. I mentioned how those happen. Not a walk to be found. And punching more tickets than a train conductor.
There's Jose Siri against Sterner. So neither starter's going to factor into the decision tonight. We saw a lot of punch-outs, 17 between the two of them.
Well, looks like Kurt Suzuki has sent switch hitter Yohan Moncada up to the plate, or up to the on-deck circle.
Moncada would hit for the catcher in Rivero. Eventual stroke to get utilized for Suzuki. 2-2. Jose Siri struck out. He also grounded into a double play, the one Dallas was mentioning after the 14-pitch AB to Josh Lowe that resulted in a hit. Swing and a miss. Late was Siri. Punch out for Sterner.
Well, Sterner, I mean, one of his weapons outside of that cutter is his arm slot. Coming from that slot and the ride on the fastball. I mean, it feels like that ball not only is just jumping on you, but it feels like it's got like some rise to it, right?
Swung on first pitch for Moncada as the pinch hitter. High in the air out to right field. Lawrence is going to take over, and he will make the catch. That'll end the 8th. We go to the 9th, all tied up.
A's Baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Class-leading MPG and more hybrid models than any other brand. Toyota, let's go places.
Nightfall here in Anaheim, top of the 9th, and all tied up at 2. The Athletics going to try and get something going here. Late in the game, have a bus ride down to San Diego for the weekend, and right now they have Kirby Yates. They'll face the bottom of the A's order.
Well, these two hooked up last night.
Yeah, McNeil swings at the first pitch. This time it's foul, though.
And
Last night it was fair.
Oh, it sure was. And McNeil got a very similar pitch. The ball just kind of spun at the bottom of the strike zone. McNeil just dropped the head of the bat on it. And that ball sailed right into the stands.
Tied the game at 5 in the 9th inning yesterday. 0-2 now. A's won in extras. 1-run win, a comeback win. Of course, they put up 14 in game 2, won that one 14-6. And the heartbreaker, how this thing opened to third base, exactly where Grissom was at the shortstop position, but sails over the head of Shonowell.
Well, McNeil once again just slapping it over to the left side, putting the ball in play. Backhanded by Grissom, but I think the hustle again from McNeil putting a little pressure on Grissom, and that ball just sails up and over and out of the reach of Shonowell. That'll go 32.5, the 32nd error for the Halos. Tied for third most in the big leagues. We've got a pinch runner, and they'll check on Henry Bolte, who is in to run now for Jeff McNeil.
The speed on the base path. Bolte had a stolen base in yesterday's game.
Well, Bolte essentially in scoring position at this point with his speed.
No question. And now the delivery to Hernay, squared around, pulled back.
Well, Hoppy instantly into the ball game.
Pitchers ruled a ball. The catcher's challenging.
I'm going to ask him to take a look. Well, Hoppy may have an argument here. Ball was close.
Pitch is a strike. Los
Indeed, a
Angeles
strike.
has one challenge remaining. Counts 0-1.
Flips the script on Hernay. 1 for 3 tonight. Had that RBI single in the 7th inning. Tied the game at 2. Looking to bunt. Hernay's flirting with it. Squares around, pulls back.
Well, this is why we're all knotted up at 2s right now. Darryl got himself a ball up in the zone and delivered with 2 outs, believe it or not. He may pull this bat back. Yep.
Swings away, fouls it. Bolte was on the move, and before that ball was even touched, he was almost into second.
Well, I can appreciate what we're seeing from Darryl Hernay here in the first part of this at bat. Now with 2 strikes, probably a more conventional approach here at the plate. And you can see the frustration from Darryl, who felt like this is an opportunity. And look, when that happens as a corner infielder, and specifically a third baseman, if you're Grissom, your life is flashing right before your very eyes.
Grissom still in on the grass, but Hernay will foul it back.
You know what we call that butcher boy play, and that's you're showing hands to bring that infield in. And when they're close enough in like that, you're able to turn it back around and take a little short swing to the baseball. Hopefully put it in play, maybe pull it.
Grissom retreated to the far side of the dirt. In the air to right. Going back is Joe Adell. Halfway is Bolte, and he'll have to head back to first base. 1 out. Lawrence Butler now against Kirby Yates. Lawrence has been coming off the bench, but started tonight as a pinch hitter. He's able to get his first pinch hit knock turned in for an RBI and a score in a very close game on Monday. And taking off is Bolte. Very late throw for Hoppy. Wasn't going to have any opportunity at the speed on the base path.
I tell you, the A's tonight have been able to grab a couple bags in important spots. Bolte just flying.
Third stolen base for Bolte. His young major league career just started a little over a week ago. Foul ball from Lawrence, 1-1.
Go back to Monday. Law Dog coming up late in the ball game. Sent it out to center field. Yeloff able to come around and score. A big swing from the Law Dog. We'd like to see him follow it up here.
Called strike. That was also a tied game. It was 0-0 in the 9th inning then. Gave the A's a 1-0 lead. At that point, JT Ginn still had a no-hit bid going. Unfortunately, that one ended with a 2-run homer from Zach Neto. They won game 1. A's won the next 2. A swing and a miss here. And Lawrence down on strikes will make it 2 outs.
You see where the flash of the glove comes from Mohapi. Kirby Yates absolutely nails his spot here. Attacking the hands of Lawrence Butler. Now with 2 outs, it'll be up to Carlos Cortez. I like this matchup here for Cortez because Kirby Yates not a guy who's at this point in time in his career got a fastball that you're too concerned about overpowering you. It's really going to take what we saw against Lawrence Butler, which is precision in terms of placement. Cortez, a guy who can keep the barrel in the zone a while. So if Kirby Yates decides to throw that split and keep it up just enough to get to it, I got a lot of confidence that Cortez can do just that. He can also do what we saw Jeff McNeil do on a breaking ball, should it stay up. So I like this matchup for the Athletics. Back.
Cortez has been hitting in all situations. Came into the game hitting .349. Runners in scoring position, it's even better. He takes a strike. .379 is the batting average for Cortez with runners in scoring position. And we got Joel Kuhnel warming up now for the Athletics. Two and two. Trying to get to Langoliers, waiting on deck. Good eye.
Tried to ride the fastball up and out of the strike zone. Great eye from Cortez.
Full count, 2 outs. Bolte on second. Cortez swings and fouls it back.
Here's how the at-bat has gone. Started with a splitter and a steady diet of fastballs. You just saw Cortez fight off a splitter.
Three-two. He misses, and Cortez will take his base. A walk puts 2 on with 2 outs here in the 9th for Shea Langoliers.
Well, we're going to have another chit-chat. This meeting on the mound brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price. Here comes the Mad Dog, Mike Maddox, out to talk to Kirby Yates. Former closer who's been in some pressure-packed situations before throughout his career. In a spot right now, you got 2 on, 2 out with a behemoth at the plate in Shea Langoliers. A man who has reached base in 20 straight ball games. And the fella you got behind him has done so over 40 times in a row. So it's not a matter of pick your poison. It's a matter of you have got to get Langoliers right here, right now.
395 or 396, excuse me, is the batting average for Shea Langoliers when it comes to the 7th inning or later. Such a clutch hitter Shea is. He's top 5 in baseball. And now it's going to be Williams coming in to pinch run. We've seen him late in the ball game the last couple of nights defensively. And now Alika on first as a runner. Bolte at second, Williams at first. Pitch to Langoliers. And it's a foul tip strike, 0-1. She's been on base twice, a double and a walk. He's also scored 1 of the 2 runs. The ground ball to Neto. Over to first. And the 2 will remain on base. All tied up at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 9th.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics.
Boys trying to get more hugs tonight, but you got to get a dub to do that right now. All tied up into bottom of the ninth. Been in this situation a time or two here in this series, haven't we?
We sure have. Right now, you just want to see the boys continue to answer the bell. Answering the bell in the bullpen is Big Joel Kuhnel, 19th appearance, on the season for the right-hander.
Got some defensive changes for you. Williams is at short now. Hernandez over to second. Butler slid into right field with Bolte taking over in center. Adam Frazier with a 1-0 count. Frazier, Neto, Trout. And a dribbler back to the pitcher, but fouled. And Frazier's gonna have to walk that one off.
Well, this didn't look like it felt too good. Yep, right off that front shin. That'll break you down quickly. As you can see on the scoreboard there, top left of your screen, A's with 2 challenges remaining, Angels down to 1.
Frazier's the one that broke up JT Ginn's no-hitter Monday night. Here's the 1-2. To right will give the Angels a base runner. There's the 4th hit of the game for the Halos, and the first since the 5th.
Well, it's the sinker from Kuhnel. Ball's down. A little more centrally located maybe than he would have liked. Not necessarily in the middle of the zone height-wise, but just location in terms of east to west, kind of splitting the difference.
Now a matchup with Zach Neto. 0 for 3, has 2 strikeouts.
Neto, just one of a few players yet to tap into a double play this season.
It's a good time to add that.
I'll take it. I will take it.
Take a timeout after the swing and miss. 1-1 is the count. He's ready to get back in the batter's box. Neto's had 2 hits this series, both for extra bases. 2-1. And we know the big one that happened Monday.
Yeah, we sure do. A shot off the bat of Neto that he'll remember for a long time. I mean, just a huge swing from the shortstop.
Big swing here to center field, but Bolte all over it, and he'll catch it at the track, just shy of the wall. So Neto tried to do his best impression of Monday night, but his attempt and turns in to the first out.
Well, and you could see the reaction there from Adam Frazier, who felt like he might have had a chance to get back to the bag after it looked like Bolte was going to track that ball and come down with it. Understanding in this situation here, nobody out, 1 out, you're halfway as a runner. Should that ball end up dropping, Frazier probably steps on second base and gets to third, but in this event, he felt like he might have had a chance to scoot up to second base here, put himself in scoring position with the future Hall of Famer Mike Trout at the plate.
Well, ahead with an 0-1 count. Lifted in the air, and this will be foul. Gonna play to the second deck for a souvenir. check over on first.
Frazier does not have a stolen base to his record this season.
1-2 now. This is the first meeting between Kunal and Mike Trout in their careers.
Well, you know, Joe Kunal's got that sinker, and you know Mike Trout hasn't met a sinker down in the zone he doesn't like.
1-2. He's inside. Evens up the count with the sinker. Missing off the plate.
Well, and now that you've been able to crowd him, maybe you tell yourself it's a chance to spin one away, see if you can't get the fish to bite.
Two. Now a full count. Shawneval on deck. He had the big home run early in the game. And the payoff pitch inside. Trout will walk. Frazier in to second. Shawneval coming up. I'll bring out Scott Emerson. This meeting on the mound is brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price as the pitching coach and the battery discuss the plan for Shawneval.
This is where you think about the weaponry that we just discussed from Joe Kunal's perspective. You got the sinker, you got the cutter. You just saw the four-seamer flashed. Again, you're looking for a way, if you can, to dial up a couple outs on one pitch.
Shawneval seen Kunal once, 0 for 1. Swings at the first pitch, high in the air out to center field. Bolte on the move at the track. Bolte with the catch. Runner moving up. 90 feet to gone.
Well, this is where Frazier was not going to let the opportunity to pass him by. To tag up, Shawneval gives this a ride. It's a well-struck baseball. I think he thought he got a little more of it than he did. Bolte able to track this back onto the track just in front of the wall out there in left center. But Frazier able to get back to second base and tag up ahead of the throw. And now it'll be up to Grissom.
Potential winning run 90 feet from home. Kunal has to be careful here. Aim for a strike. It'll be Trout moving on up to second.
Well, realistically, in a spot like this, that run means nothing.
Defensive indifference for Trout. One now. Von Grissom 0 for 3 tonight. He's looking for extra innings once again in Anaheim.
Checking.
And now it'll be an ABS by
Pitch
the
was ruled
hitter,
a strike. The batter is challenging.
Ooh. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't see the initial strike call. It looked like a pretty good pitch.
Call is confirmed. Los Angeles has 0 challengers remaining. The count is 2-2.
What did you say about our man, Dave Rackley?
38% of the ABS challenges. That's it. Just 38% have been overturned.
He knows his zone. 2-2, 2 on and 2 outs. Pitch from Kunal, and it's on the ground. How about Williams to finish out the 9th? Let's go to extras here in Anaheim. All tied up at 2.
Great family traditions every Sunday at the ballpark in West Sac, starting at just $99. Our family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 drinks, and 4 bags of chips or popcorn. And remember, kids 14 and under can enjoy exclusive items, free ice cream. We've got pregame treasure hunts with Stomper. You can run the bases after the ball game. We got a whole lot for you. So, time to secure your family 4-pack today at athletics.com/family. Bring the whole squad out.
Love it.
You can eat some ice cream and then run off the ice cream after the ball game.
It's a great idea. I appreciate that. Oh, look at Road Trip Mike. He's going to get in there, be a photographer. Wait, she wants a picture with him.
Oh, my.
We got a celebrity sighting in the house. Bonus baseball. Bonus baseball once again. This will be the 6th time that the A's are playing in extra innings. Ryan Zephyr-John on for the Angels now. Yesterday it was a win in extras, improved the Athletics to 3-2. And they do head to extra frames. And guess what? Guess what Zephyr-John says? He says,
no thanks.
Hey, Kurtz, you can go ahead and just take that base at first.
Yep, that's not going to happen. You will not be beating us.
Definitely not facing you. So now first and second, Langoliers is the runner hanging out at second in extras.
Well, and that's the positive, right, is Shea Langoliers, the speediest backstop in baseball.
Don't count out the guy at first speed. Kurtz with 6 stolen bases this year. Here's the pitch to Rooker. Rooker will have the opportunity to eat here in the 10th frame. Get some steaks. Try and give the Athletics the lead here, and there's some familiarity between these two. A couple homers for Rooker off Zephyr-John. Talked about those career numbers earlier. 17 home runs against the Angels.
Well, look, the games played, the homers, the RBIs, the doubles, the runs, all the most accumulated against any team. Oh, that got him.
Inside it did. Head on to first, hit by pitch. Bases loaded now for Tyler Soderstrom, and nobody out here in the 10th.
Well, nowhere to put Soderstrom. See, this ball looks like it's going to catch Brent Rooker right under the armpit.
Sodi rips the first pitch, but foul. A's is a team hitting close to 300 with bases loaded here this season.
Ooh.
2 for Sodi, and yeah, that's going to take a minute for Logan O'Hoppe hopping around.
Right off that shin guard. Right off that top guard on that shin guard. You can see him very gingerly starting to move about. Pitchcom took a hit, and he is still kind of walking that off.
I remember he didn't start this game. Rivera was the catcher starting. He came in late.
Well, you can see Pitchcom all busted up.
Yeah, it certainly was. Dials in the digits and get back in there. Sodi tonight, 1 for 3. Intentionally walked in the 6th to get to Geloff. Worked up for the Angels, then they got out of it with bases loaded. Sit here with bases loaded, nobody out. A dribbler back towards the pitcher, Zefrajan to home, and they will get the lead runner.
And Jenny, outside of turning a double play at home plate like that, if the ball is going to be in play, that's about as good as it gets. Just a little dribbler right back to the mound. Something you can take care of nice and easy. You still have the bases loaded. You still have a force at any base. The double play is still in order.
And one hopper to short. Neto goes to second. Late step to the bag, and they do get the ball to first. On the field, the call is out. They want to check it right away.
Yeah, it's not even close. He is safe by a mile. The A's will be on the board. That's not even close. Not even close.
Athletics
We'll
are
show you the
challenging
replay.
Safe call. No, excuse me, the out call at first base.
I agree with Aldo. And you can see everybody in the dugout on the top rail. I mean, it's the bobble from Frazier, not able to get the ball out cleanly. Geloff's foot on the bag well before that ball gets to the back of the glove of Shonewell.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe.
Yeah.
Athletics will retain their challenge.
So it goes down as a fielder's choice, 6-4. Eliminates Soderstrom from the base pass. Here's that transfer bobble you're talking about one more time.
Well, you can see Frazier just a tough time getting the ball out of the glove, and even then getting a grip on the baseball. By that time, Geloff able to beat it by a half step.
Athletics up 3-2 on the reverse. Call, and now the pitch. Runner will move up on defensive indifference for Geloff. One 0 count for Henry Bolte.
I almost had that.
Mark Leiter Jr. Maybe the one coming in. The bottom of the 10, trying to close out a victory for the Athletics here in Anaheim. Looking to win a series in a 4-game set.
Good eye by Bolte.
Bolte's first AB here of the game, came in to pinch run. Stayed in on defense, made a couple great catches in the ninth to force extras. 3-2. And it's going to be an ABS challenge by Logan O'Hoppe. Call the ball.
The pitcher's
Bolte's
rule
gonna
the
start
ball, the
walking
catcher's
to
challenging.
first.
That ball looked down. I mean, it may have been on the corner, but it looked down, and it was down.
Call is confirmed. Los Angeles has 0 challenges remaining.
Maddox coming out.
Out to chat.
Infield will come in to join the conversation between the pitcher and the catcher and the pitching coach. Got bases loaded again. Daryl Hernandez up. Dallas this inning in the extra frame is unfolded without a hit. The intentional walk of Kurtz, of course, the ghost runner at second, and Langoliers. It was a hit by pitch. a couple fielder's choices. Now walked Henry Bolte. And because of that second fielder's choice, you got the run across.
It's having the conversation today before the game. The importance of putting the ball in play. Why? Because even in the big leagues, guys make mistakes. Even in the big leagues, it can be tough to play catch sometimes. And what happened with Frazier at second base, trying to turn the inning double play, unable to get the ball out. And it, to your point, isn't a hit that puts a run on the board. It's just a matter of putting pressure on the defense that results in the run. And that's what free passes and the inability to play catch can do.
Inside to Hernandez, 2-0. Hernandez tied the game up with his RBI single in the 7th inning. Nowhere to put Darryl here. He wouldn't mind a little more insurance. Pitch and a strike. Full count.
Darrell's going to make him throw him at least 3. 2.5. He's going to have to make this one close if Hernandez is going to offer.
Bases loaded with 2 outs in the full count. Runners will be on the move here. The pitch, and it's a ground ball to Neto. They'll throw it to first, and that will end the top of the 10th. The Athletics get their run. They're up 3-2, and here comes Mark Leiter to close it out. A's playing with the lead for the first time in this game. It took till the 10th to get that run, but 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 10th, and Mark Leiter Jr. with a save opportunity here. Dallas in his 23rd appearance.
Well, we've seen Mark Leiter Jr. in tough spots, and right now in a spot where he's going to have to put Joe Adell, Mr. Lowe, and Mr. Siri to bed. And it's going to start with a man on second base. That man is Mr. Grissom.
On Grissom at second, Joe Adell up. It'll be Adell, Lowe, and Siri. Pending any changers off the bench. Here's the pitch. And just misses 1-0. Joe Adell struck out 3 times tonight. All those against Luis Severino. What a start. And the A's veteran, 10 strikeouts, a season high. 1-7, and now a liner dumped into center field. It's going to get down, and then it'll be stop sign at third for Grissom.
Well, you see Grissom kind of wondering if he would have been able to score on that. I don't think that was going to be the case. Kind of a soft liner with Adell tied up on a fastball. And that gave Bolte a chance to charge this ball. And you'll see the strong throw out of the hand from Bolte. I think Grissom wisely held up. Now the Halos with runners on the corners.
Potential tying run at third. The winning run at first. And he takes a strike.
Well, it will not be Siri after Lowe. Jorge Soler has stepped out on deck.
That's a threat off the bench to have tonight. 0-2. First, you got to get Josh Lowe. Soler had a 2-run homer in yesterday's game. Two now. And the pitch from Leiter. Leiter's 3 saves on the season, joins 3 other Athletics with 3 or more saves. Joe Kuno leads the pack with 4. Handled the 9th with a little traffic to get us into extras.
A little bit of a battle here with Lowe. Remember, Lowe had that extended bat against Severino back in the 5th inning.
Another foul ball. This will be pitch 7 coming Lowe's way. And a swing and a miss. Leiter gets a much-needed strikeout. 1 gone.
Well, Leiter just does a great job. He started the at-bat off slow with a breaking ball, got ahead, goes to the splitter here, catches Lowe out in front. See the ball just kind of working its way away from the left-hander. And you got 1 out. You got runners on the corners, and we told you that Jorge Soler now hitting in the place of Jose Siri. And I think what you have to realize is Jorge Soler maybe taking note of how Mark Leiter has started the first 2 at-bats of this inning, both with breaking balls.
There's career numbers against Leiter, 0 for 2, both of them punch-outs.
We'll see how Mark Leiter decides to start this at-bat here.
Here's the 0-1. A ground ball to Geloff. Geloff to second, on to first, and a double play does it. How about these Athletics? Chipping away through the game, tie it, extra innings, and another comeback win. Book it. A series victory over the Los Angeles Angels in a 4-game set.
Talk about bearing down. Mark Leiter Jr. coming into extra innings. Obviously, you start that half frame with a guy on second base, surrendered the hit to Joe Adell. But with Grissom held at third base, you were going to have an opportunity to do just this eventually. And after the big punch out to Lowe, Mark Leiter Jr. roll me up something tight. 5, 4, 3. How you doing? The green and gold get out of Anaheim with a series W, and Leiter is juiced.
4th save of the season for Mark Leiter Jr. What a team effort here tonight in Anaheim. A 3-2 victory, a week that started with so much heartache after JT Ginn was walked off by these Angels. The Athletics battled all week, won 3 straight, and now they take their winning ways to San Diego. We'll have a lot of fun against the Padres over the weekend. And here's a look at the probables coming up here for Friday night. Jeffrey Springs will take the ball against Walker Buehler. That's when we'll see you next from America's finest city at 6 o'clock. So much to wrap up in this one. A 3-2 win. A's Cast on NBC Sports presented by Toyota starts right now.